I want you to take a moment to reflect on your entire life, from the moment you were born to the moment you woke up this morning. Think about everything you've been through, every moment you've lived, every moment you breathed air on this planet. Now I want you to take a few minutes to think about three things. First, I want you to think about what happened. Second, I want you to think about what is currently happening. And finally, I want you to think about what will happen. Because believe it or not, these are three of the most important questions that you will ever have in your life. But out of those three questions, only one of them is important. Because only one of those questions is up for you to decide. First question, what happened? Now, when I ask what happened, or should I say if you ask yourself what happened refers to the things that have already happened in your life. Your past experiences, your past encounters, your past lessons, your past mistakes. Do you notice how I keep saying past? Because that's what I mean by when I ask you what happened. See, what happened is really an irrelevant question. It's almost a rhetorical question because you already know what happened because it already happened. It's in the past. This happened either a long time ago, it happened yesterday, or even a few years ago, or even a few moments ago. Regardless, what happened is what happened. It's in the past. So it's really an irrelevant question that you don't need to answer because your past occurrences and past encounters have already answered the question for you. So I think it's safe to say that what happened is really not the important question that we need to worry about. So if it's not the important question that we need to worry about, ask yourself, is it really something that you need to constantly think about? Because after all, what happened, like I said, is in the past. Think about where you want to go in your life. Think about where you see yourself in the next 5 years. Now, after you've thought about that, ask yourself this. Does what happened in the past really matter that much? If it's already happened and you've already been through it and you're here, then there should be nothing stopping you on your journey to success, on your journey to the finish line. Whenever you find yourself dwelling on the things that have already happened, anytime you find yourself constantly thinking about the things that are in the past, I want you to tell yourself this. Your past can be your greatest lesson, or it can be your greatest prison. Think about that. Your past is a lesson, not a life sentence. Don't live in it. Live in the now. Most of us find ourselves trapped in the events that have already happened because we always ask the age-old question, what if I had did things differently? What if I hadn't made that move? And instead, what if I made this move? But you got to remember, you can't undo what's already been done. Life is a lesson. And most of the lessons that you've already been taught have come from what's already happened. Live with it, not in it. Next question. What's happening? Now, this one can be a little tricky because when we talk about what is happening, we're obviously referring to our present, the now, right now in the current states of our lives. Your present will always consist of things that determine your future, regardless if it's the immediate or distant future. This is where a lot of us start to panic, because sometimes it's not the past that scares us, it's the thought of the future. This is where we find ourselves in constant panic over what is currently happening in our lives. And this, more often than not, can lead to us making irrational decisions, spur of the moment choices. We often find ourselves planning too hard for the future, planning for a future that hasn't even arrived yet because we're so rattled by the things that are currently happening in our lives. Planning is a survival tactic, no doubt. But sometimes too much surviving can take away your ability to live. And if you don't know how to live, then that means you're too caught up in what's happening right now. And that's when you need to take a minute, take a breath, and tell yourself, I live in the now, not in the tomorrow. My present is a gift, not a chore. And lastly, what will happen? What will happen? The million-dollar question that every one of us asks ourselves at least once every 10 minutes. The thought of the future can be a fearful thing. After all, the future is probably the greatest face of fear, because it represents a fear of the unknown. Things that we think are going to happen are never certain. They're just thoughts. Visions in our head that can become so intrusive if we're not careful that they can often warp our minds from reality. They always say that no one can predict their future. I believe the only thing that you can ever predict about your future is what it has to offer. The future can either hold great things or bad things. So if you're constantly telling yourself that you're not going to succeed, that you're not going to make it, that you're not going to win, what do you think is going to happen when you finally make it to the future? You guessed it. You'll have proven yourself correct. You'll have proven your past correct. All your negative thoughts, your lost hope, self-loathing, all of that is going to lead you to a lonely road where you will forever be forced to watch others succeed where you failed. Your future will soon become your present. And depending on how you live now, your present can either be a gift or a curse. What will happen is unknown. But as long as you live in the now, the unknown shouldn't scare you one bit, because you're already expecting it. So this leads us back to square one. What is the most important question? What happened? What's happening? Or what will happen? And the answer is simply none of them. These questions represent things that we worry about on a daily basis. But in the end, all three questions you already have the answer to. Think about it. You already know what happened in the past, and you learn from it. What's happening now is your present. There's things that you can't change, but there's also things that you can still prevent. Now, that doesn't always determine the future, but then again, it doesn't always have to. So don't worry about what's going to happen in the future. Just prepare for it. Because depending on how you live now, that unknown might not be as bad as you think it's going to be. If you reached the end of this video, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Also, if you are new to my channel, don't be a stranger. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share. And in case nobody else tells you, I'll tell you. I love you, and I'm proud of you. Keep it up.